Let me know if you can hear me, guys. I can see there's a couple of people in the chat. Well, not in the chat, like watching or whatever. All right, Robin, how you doing, mate? Can you hear me? Is it all good on your end? Let me know if you can hear me, guys. I think I've set it up right. I hope I've set it up right anyway. Robin, if you're still there, mate, let me know if you can hear me. Just I'm not sure if this is working or not. Ah, nice one. Cheers, mate. Thank you for that. So I thought what I'd do is this paper talk live today, just because there isn't much to talk about, and then just do a few topics of the red card incident yesterday, Trent potential injury, and then see what else you guys want to talk about as well. I know it's a bit of a weird stream on a Sunday, like, but well, you know, it might be something I'll do going forward. So anyway, let's start off with the paper talk stuff, because that's something that I normally do on a Sunday. So the only thing that I can really see today that's anything to do with Liverpool news is Transfer Insider, which ain't something that you should pay much attention to, be honest with you, but you know, you need something to talk about. So they've basically said that Liverpool have cooled their interest in Fulham's, is it Palhinha? Because they're valuing at over 90 million. Now, if that's legit price, then I can't see us pulling that. I mean, he's 28 years of age, and he's just had a recent injury as well. It says he suffered a shoulder injury in pre-season, and he's yet to return to action as well, missing their opening game against Everton. It is believed that Fulham's price tag for the midfielder is also a problem, with Liverpool feeling the Londoners are trying to price them out of a move by demanding a staggering 90 million for him. West Ham were also interested early in the window, but they were met with strong resistance from Fulham. Is that a player you guys would like to see come in at Liverpool, Palhinha? Oh, cheers, Blue Cheese. Cheers, mate. Is that a player that you guys would be interested in? Like, for me at the moment, my eyes, if you go off all the news you're getting off Twitter, which I'm going to touch on a little bit later, guys, Twitter of all these ITKs and that, I've got the receipts. I know what they've all been saying. I've got the dates. I've got the links to all the tweets, everything, right? So I know that none of them this window have got anything right. I know for a fact that none of them have. I've got all the tweets saved and everything like that. I know it might seem like a little bit of a weird thing to be doing, but at the end of the day, you guys need to know what's legit, and I need to know what's legit when I'm doing this. And not one of them have mentioned anything this window that's been legit. So yeah, apparently, apart from the Alexis McAllister stuff, but we all knew about that like months in advance anyway. Word around a bit. So yeah, for me anyway, not Palhinha, it would be Decore or Kone for me. You know, if you're still looking for a DM, you know, Endo obviously played yesterday, and I feel like he did all right, didn't he? You know, he's not really trained with the team. He doesn't know the system or anything like that, so we can't be too harsh on his performance yesterday. But it wasn't that bad, was it? You know, he did his job. He came on, he sweeped about. You know, he gave away a foul a little bit, which, yeah, you know, probably a silly decision to do, to go in for that tackle. I like the fact he wears a gum shield, me. I think that's crazy. I've never seen a player do that before. It must just mean he goes in hard on tackles. Do you know what I mean? Never seen a player wear a gum shield. So what you guys are saying right now. So Robin, you're more inclined for Decore. Amrabat, Gary Richards. I'm not really a fan on Amrabat. Like, I know I might get a little bit of rubbish for this, but I just feel like he had a good World Cup, and we've been stung with players that have had a good World Cup in the past. Like El Hadj Diouf and Salif Diao and stuff like that. Like, they had good World Cups, but maybe this one would potentially be a little bit different. I don't know, but it's not really for me. I'm not gonna lie, not really for me. Amrabat. I mean, he's not really pulled up many trees at Fiorentina, has he? Like, I don't know. I can say that, but we've just signed Endo from Stuttgart, so who knows? What else have you guys been saying? He's ready for war, isn't he? Like, proper, just like on one is Endo. I can't wait to see him like get into the game properly after a few training sessions. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays against Newcastle from the off me next week, especially if McAllister's red card's going to be upheld. Like, let's talk about that, actually. I know Phil mentioned earlier Max Red was never even a foul, in your opinion. Now, I do a bit of refereeing myself, right? And when it happened, it's if I'm going to go against the grain here. Like, again, I agree with Phil. I don't think it's really a foul. I think both players are entitled to go for that ball. The ball's bouncing. If I'm being really, really harsh, all right, fine, I'll give a yellow, but it's never a red. I saw Mike Dean on Soccer Saturday afterwards talking about it. He's supposed to be like this referee expert now, that they've got on Soccer Saturday on Sky. And he was saying, like, oh, it's definitely a red. I'd like to see at the end of the season, after this comes on, right, I would like to see how he talks about all the stuff that's going on and see if he's actually just been a bit biased towards the referees. Like, has he actually pulled up any referees' decisions throughout the whole season? It's a little bit early now, but let's come back to that back end of the season and see how he's actually doing. But for me, that would have been a red card if the Bournemouth player's foot was on the ground. But the Bournemouth player's foot was up in the air as well because the ball was up in the air. So they're both entitled to go for it. So for me, I just don't think that it was a red any time of day. And to be fair, if we're going to see any sort of like, what is it, rescind? If we're going to see the card get rescinded, you would expect to hear some news probably tomorrow or Tuesday. If we're getting to Wednesday and we've heard nothing that Liverpool have put in any sort of complaint against it, then I wouldn't expect that it's going to get rescinded at all. I would fully expect it to be upheld. And then I think he misses 3 games then, doesn't he? So with it being a straight red. So he definitely missed the... let's have a look, see if I can load up Liverpool's fixtures. So he'd missed Newcastle. Let's have a look. Fixtures. So he'd miss Newcastle next week, Aston Villa, and then Wolves. So he'd be back for West Ham on the 24th of September if this red card's upheld. Newcastle's a big, big game next week, guys. I honestly... We were going to struggle in that game, honestly. I honestly think we will do. What about you guys? Let me know. What do you think about Gakpo playing in midfield these past 2 games? Do you think he's been wasted? I do. I think he's had really bad games for the opening games of the season. If we beat Newcastle, I wonder where the Liverpool Iron Crisis Brigade will hide. Yeah, if we beat Newcastle, then maybe everything's not going as bad as it. It's not. To be fair, this season hasn't even been bad. Like, let's be honest with us. Like, any other season, you'd take a draw at Stamford Bridge, wouldn't you? Any other season, we expect to beat Bournemouth. The first 10 minutes of the game yesterday, I didn't even know what was happening. I was raging at the TV, honestly. But yeah, we've drawn in 1. Newcastle is a top 4 rival. We need to get the 3 points in that game. Phil, you're not expecting it to be rescinded. I'm not either, mate, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I don't even know what the rules are now with it all changing everything with VAR. Like, if VAR is not intervened, could he even have a right to an appeal? Like, let's have a look what Klopp said. So Klopp basically said in the end of the game that he saw it back. The amount of times I got asked about it shows already it's worth discussing again, which we will probably do. I saw it back now. In the game, I couldn't. I asked Maka. He said I touched him, but not really. That was all he told me. After the game, I saw it back. How many times are you going to say that? I think if you have a list of points of what you need to give a red card, I think the majority, besides the contact, nothing else. Probably true there with what Klopp's saying, I I don't think it deserved a red. Let's have a look what you're saying about Gakpo there. Yeah, see, that's the thing, me. I'm thinking about putting Gakpo back up top. And then I was like, who do we drop? Can't drop Diaz because he scored 2 games in the opening 2 games of the season. I know he picked up a slight injury yesterday, but you'd think he'd be fit for next week. Then you've got Salah, who I know he scored yesterday, but he seems really quiet, doesn't he? A little bit. Like, I don't know. I know he's like our key player, but maybe he's just taking a little bit of time to get up and running in a little bit. The only Jota scored yesterday. Do you think Klopp would drop Gakpo to the bench, and then you just do a midfield 4 of, say, Endo with Trent, obviously, at the side of him, and then Szoboszlai and Harvey Elliott or something like that? What's that say there about Darwin Falls? Darwin, man. I can't believe he's not getting a start, me, you know. He's been given number 9 and everything, and they're not even playing him. I don't know. I've got him in my fantasy football team, me, and I'm honestly thinking about taking him out. Like, if he don't get starting, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to think he'll probably get into the Europa League sides, wouldn't you? Something weird behind that transfer. But yeah, back to the McAllister thing. You would expect it to be rescinded if we put an appeal in, but isn't there a thing like if you put an appeal in and if it's unsuccessful that you get another extra game ban, or is that just for really bad fouls? I can't remember where that is actually. To be fair, I can't remember where I've seen that. In all honesty, not too many changes for the Newcastle game. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Endo definitely starts because we're just too vulnerable in that midfield. You need someone that's going to just throw a tackle in. And Endo, like you said earlier, was like ready to go to war. So I think he starts next week. And it's just depending on who you drop out of the midfield. And based on the performances that we've had over the past couple of days, you start Szoboszlai. Like, Szoboszlai is like probably the first name on the sheet. He's been my man of the match every game this season. So you're probably dropping Gakpo out of the midfield, and then you've got to question yourself. Then do you throw Gakpo into the front 3, or do you leave the front 3 as is with them scoring? Do you know what I mean? It's a tough one, but, you know, that's why Klopp gets paid the big bucks. He needs to be the one that comes up with the answers to these, not us. We can all sit here and just, you know, debate it, but end of the day, it's up to Klopp what he does. What is the Everton score, by the way? Last time I saw it was 3-0, wasn't it? 4-0. 4-0. Didn't they lose their first game as well? All right, Dave, how you doing, mate? Didn't they lose their first game, Everton? Good, Dave. Good, mate. Gary, you'd start Nunez against Newcastle. I don't know when Nunez is going to get his time, you know, in all fairness, unless it's just Europa League. If he's going to be like our Europa League striker, how can you expect a player to develop if you don't play him? But it's big. We've got a really tough starting fixtures when you look at it. Like, I loaded it up earlier, didn't I? To have a look, see what games that McAllister would miss. So obviously we've played Chelsea, we've played Bournemouth, then we've got Newcastle, Aston Villa, Wolves, West Ham, Spurs. That takes us up to the end of September. When does Europa League start? Is it like October, November or something like that? Tell you what though, when we played Newcastle at St James's, is it called St James's anymore? I think it has gone back to that now, isn't it? When we played them at St James's, I think Nunez started then, didn't he? He had a right game. He played really, really well there last season. They'll have the best stadium in the Championship. It's supposed to be ready next year, isn't it? What's that there about Trent? Has Trent been creative in the last 2 games? Yeah, Trent yesterday. I think he had a bit of a mare, me, in first half. Them two, I said it yesterday in my video, them 2 chances that they had, the one that was disallowed and the one that they scored, I blame Trent for both of them. Me, like, you can say that Konate was a little bit culpable for the first one, but Trent's bad touch could say, did Van Dijk put too much on it? I guess. You know, I never know. But the way that Trent and Konate crossed each other to allow that disallowed goal to go in. Trent's too cocky. I did like the fact, though, that even though he's got the vice captaincy, if you watch the replays back, I watched it back a few times, that Robbo and Van Dijk both give him an absolute mouthful when they scored. They both blamed him straight away for his bad touch. But I hope it's not going to be one of them things where teams just start pouncing on him because they expect the ball, to go to him in the midfield, and they just, pincer move him straight away and just block him in. Like, what was Alisson thinking yesterday? If Konate had not been there, like, to cover him, he'd have been sent off for that. Nunez should have started from the Chelsea game. He's quick and fast. Yeah, he is. Nunez is. In all fairness, like, I was going to put the Everton game on when I was streaming this, but I just thought, nah. So you think that Luton, Sheff and Everton go down? Okay. What does everyone think of Brighton? I know this is a Liverpool channel, but bloody hell, Brighton for the past 2 games. Tell you what, I know it's not one thing to say because it's not something you want to think about just yet, but if that De Zerbi's still not snapped up since when Klopp goes, I'd be taking him all day. What's that say? I can't really see that love art in the way of the that last comment is there. Trent's long range passes are exquisite. Short passes are easy to him. Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, he did a really good couple of balls. Like, I was thinking yesterday, like, there was a point in the first half where Trent just kept messing about. I was proper in, like, thinking about just taking him off in first half, me. Chucking Endo on. I was thinking about doing that in first half with Trent, me. But let's see how much, again, yeah, like Gary, let's see how far, like, Brighton can go this season. They're in the Europa League as well, aren't they? So when that gets started, maybe they'll see a little bit of a tail off there. But that Mitomo for Brighton, Jesus, that's another one there. That's going to be another 100 million. Thomas Frank as Klopp's replacement. Yeah, he's another one as well. Yep. For me, it's De Zerbi and Thomas Frank. I did like Nagelsmann for a bit, but obviously he failed at Bayern because he's got a bit of an ego behind the scenes, allegedly. But yeah, he's a name as well I've also got on for Klopp's replacement. Gomez. Yeah. I agree with you. Like, I think Gomez is good if he's not expected to bomb forward and get involved with the attack. Like, if his job is just to sit and try and defend and, like, knock corners away and stuff like that, then yeah, he'll do a job. But if he's expected to do everything else that Trent does, then no, I don't agree that he should be in that spot there whatsoever. Yeah, I think if I were Brighton now, I'd be pretending to go buy some players, get the names out there. Oh, this is the next Caicedo, this is the next Mitomo or whatever. So all these other teams go and snap them up, and then Brighton are not really interested in them, and they go get who they actually really are. Because you've got to think now, whichever player Brighton goes for now, everyone else is going to be just around them thinking, oh, we'll have a bit of him. And that's what I kind of want us to do. Like, I know when I did my Endo video, when we signed him, I was a little bit shocked and everything, but he's the kind of signing that I want us to do, like a Genie or a Robbo, someone that nobody's heard of, and then Klopp just does his thing and turns him into this superstar. Like, Endo may be a little bit old now, but if you've seen Klopp's interview when Endo was announced as a Liverpool player, Klopp was saying that apparently he wanted him like 3 or 4 years ago when he first joined at Stuttgart. But FSG, like the owners, he even said it himself in the interview, this is not me trying to make an FSG point. He said our owners don't like us to buy players of that age. We could have had Endo back then. Yeah, I agree with that, Gary. Gomez is a better defender, but Trent is a better all-round footballer. Yeah, I agree with that. So we've done that one. What are your guys' thoughts on Szoboszlai? I think Szoboszlai has been phenomenal. I really do. I think he's been immense. Like I said earlier, he's been my man of the match in the first 2 games of the season. I think it's good to see someone wearing the number 8 who's actually going to play, not like Keita. God bless him, you know. He came in with so much hype, getting the shirt from Stevie G and spending a year back at Leipzig, and Klopp built him up, saying that him and Thiago were the best midfielders in the Bundesliga. And then he comes over and he does nothing. He scored some important goals, maybe one important goal. But other than that, he didn't really do much, did he? Getting injured for the way his car seat wore and stuff like that. And didn't he hurt his neck getting on a flight or something daft like that? Like some proper strange injuries. Weird injuries. But yeah, it's good that Dom's in. I've kind of liked Dom since he's been at, was it Salzburg? He was at Salzburg, wasn't he, before he went to Leipzig? I liked him back then, and I'm sure we were linked to him back then as well. He was like 19, 20. But yeah, I'm glad we got him in 100%. What's your thoughts on McAllister, guys? Since he's the other signing that we've got in as well this summer. I think he's been a little bit under the radar, but again, is that because he's playing deeper than where he should be playing? I think there may be something there with that one. All being well, when he comes back off his suspension, if it's upheld, that he will play further up, and then we might see the best of him. But yeah, you would say so far that Dom's been the best signing of our season so far. That's a question I asked in the video yesterday in my review of the game. Do you think that Mo should be taken off penalties now? Because he's missed a few now, hasn't he? I know he scored the rebound yesterday, but if he'd not got that rebound, wouldn't that be like 3 penalties in a row he's missed? No, that's not right. That's a lie. That because he scored one, didn't he, last season as well after missing a fair few. So yeah, is it time to take Salah off penalties? Do you think? I saw a few people saying Szoboszlai, saw a few people saying McAllister to take penalties. You know, it would have been Milner or Fabinho as well, wasn't it? They were supposed to be really good at penalties. I couldn't really think of anybody else in the team other than McAllister and Szoboszlai now, maybe. What's that you saying there? I won't be surprised if Nunez asks for a transfer request next season. You got to think, haven't you? When if he's not playing, you got to think, what's the plan with that signing, guys? Nunez, what's the plan? I don't see the plan. I really don't. If you feel like if he's the number 9, you've given him the number 9 shirt, which I thought he were going to get anyway when he signed for us last year, especially when Bobby wasn't given the new contract. I think it was inevitable that he were going to get given the number 9. But if he's your number 9, he's supposed to be your starting striker, and you're not starting him in the first 2 games of this season, you've got to ask the question why. Why did we sign him in the first place? He's not helping himself with his... Yeah, you're right, yeah. But I think strikers need to get into a bit of a rhythm. They're a bit of a weird player, strikers, you know, where last year when he came in and he scored, didn't he, in the Community Shield, everyone were buzzing about him, and he were on fire. And then he were playing every game, and then he got sent off against Palace for what that thing he did. And I think that knocked him for the rest of the season, Like, didn't he still manage to get 15 goals last year as well? And I've seen some stats flying around that's the same amount that Mane got in his first season as well with us. But if he's not playing, he ain't going to score goals, guys. You know, there's got to be a point where he just plays through the middle. Like, none of this shit where he's playing out on the left. You know, that's Nunez's position. I mean, but then you can't drop Gakpo. Gakpo's really, really good. Gakpo's been really, really good. So, well, I had an idea last year, which I don't think will fit now with the new formation we're playing. But I would play Nunez as your 9, like outright. Gakpo in the 10 position behind him. Diaz, Salah. And then you play like a double pivot. But with the midfielders we've got now, that wouldn't work, I don't think. So you can't play that formation now. Yeah, what's that, Gary? Gomez at right back and Trent in midfield. The thing is, though, we don't really play over right back anymore. Like, Trent is an inverted right back. So if you play Gomez at right back and you put Trent into midfield, you're going to have to drop either McAllister. Well, obviously McAllister's not playing, but you'd have to drop either Endo, Szoboszlai, Gakpo, one of the other three. And then, Gomez would have to do... If we're sticking with the formation, Gomez comes in, doesn't he? Into the inverted role. Oh, you think... Okay. So, Dave, would Gakpo be on the bench for you? See, I love Gakpo, me. I honestly can't see a reason why we don't... I don't know, guys. It's a tough question, Like, I want Darwin to succeed, and he ain't going to succeed if he doesn't get the games. But you can't drop Gakpo. Oh, right, Gakpo, right. Okay, cool. Right, I'm with you. Front three, Diaz, Gakpo, Salah. Yeah. I think that's probably going to be it, innit? You know what I mean? That's probably going to be it. And then you probably play Nunez in the Europa League. And then if Gakpo gets injured, then you play Nunez in the Prem, don't you, as well? With that. Three, 4-3 formation, pack the midfield with the three up top. I don't think they'd change formation now, though, after spending all pre-season practicing this one. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. I'd like to see where Trent plays, where Salah plays. You know what? Not a bad shout, that, Dave. Maybe that's what he does when Salah goes off to the AFCON. That's the thing as well, guys. I know I've asked this earlier on in the stream, but we've got a few more people in there. Who do you think Liverpool sign next, if any? Because we lose Salah to the AFCON in January. We lose Endo to the Asia Cup in January, February. If we signed Decore, we would lose him as well in January to the AFCON. So we'd lose both RDMs during January, February. So the next person that comes in, if there is going to be another person, and it plays DM, has to be someone that's not going to be going off mid-season. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards Kone. Oh, Stefan Bajcetic. Yeah, true. Again, true. Can you really rely on an 18-year-old for 2 months? Especially as well, like, if we're still in the latter stages of the Europa League then as well, then we've got the cup competitions to be kicking off as well. Like, is Bajcetic gonna play like 3 times a week? I don't know. Mac will fill in. Okay. Or maybe we sign that Andre kid. I know someone put a question up earlier, like, what's my thoughts on this Andre lad? In all seriousness, I don't really know what to say about him. I've not seen him play. I've seen the compilations, but you can see compilations of Traore back in the day and made him look like Maldini or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the type of player we need to be really bringing in. We need to be bringing in somebody who's 20, 30 million, and we get him in and they're good, like a rough diamond or something. We don't want to be waiting for him to go to like Brighton or Wolves or wherever for that amount of money. And then 2-3 seasons, maybe even the season after, Liverpool go and buy him for like 80, 90, 100 million, because we need to beat that. And it seems like our recruitment team is just diminished, doesn't it? Ever since Mike Edwards left and Ian Graham and Julian Ward, we seem to be just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what'll stick. Big Dom will cover Salah. Yeah, I think that as well, or Elliot. But then Jota can also play out there on the right as well. He's done that before in the past as Jota. But yeah, Kone, I got my eye on Kone. Don't know why. I just think him or Thuram, but then Thuram's a little bit more of a further forward player than he is as well. Do you think there's a chance we sign Sangare? He's got a £32 million release clause, and we seem to have been release clause FC this year, so can't see why not. Can't believe we missed out on Inacio as well. His release clause has gone up now as well. We could have got him for like 42, 45 million, and now his release clause has gone up to 60. Maybe he just didn't want us. Sangare, yeah, he's going to the AFCON as well, yeah. He's going... Oh, yeah, he'll be off to the AFCON. We need to sign a DM, guys, that won't be going to the AFCON. We've got Sangare, we've got Decore. Who else can we get that won't go to the AFCON? Kone, I know there's that one that I've mentioned earlier as well. Andre from Brazil. Is there any other position you think we need to go and get someone now? Yeah, we need homegrown as well. Lavia would have been the perfect signing for that. That was one of the main reasons why I wanted Lavia. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. Boom, boom. Fofana. Yeah, right. There's another player at the same club as him as well that I think we need to keep an eye on as well. Homegrown. Endo's taken up one of the two remaining homegrown players' spots now in the squad. So we would need either someone who's under the age of 21 that wouldn't need registering, or we need someone who's homegrown to come in. And I can't think of anybody, be it a defender or someone that can just come in. Right, so Fofana is a player that I've watched for a long time at Monaco. He's really good. And there's also a player there as well. Is it Mohamed Kamara or is it Mo Kamara? He's really good as well. They're both really good and could do a job for us. Take off really well. Dewsbury Hall. No way, mate. No way. If we sign Laporte, then we would need a homegrown to come in as a DM, and I can't think of one. Can anyone think of a DM that could come in and is a homegrown quality player? Gravenberch. There's a lot of chatter about that one, guys. A lot of chatter about that one. Is he under the age of 21 as well? Let's have a look. I think he is, isn't he? Ryan Gravenberch. How old is he? Oh, he's 21. He turned 22 towards the back end of this season. I don't know if he'd get away with that one. He's 21 now. He played in the under-21s tournament, yeah. Calvin Phillips. Would City sell him to us for a price? How much would you pay for Calvin Phillips if it was like, let's say, for instance, let's just put it out there. If we could go and buy someone like Decore or Sangara or whoever, right, as a DM that's going to come in and be like one of the main starters, would you then go sign Calvin Phillips to take up the homegrown quarter? I think if you were to get a non-homegrown DM, you would probably be looking at a homegrown centre-back. You know, we've loaned out Reece Williams. Nat Phillips is still at the club, isn't he? There was a lot of chatter about him going to Leeds, but that seems to have gone dead. Yeah. It's a bit of a tough one, really, isn't it, when you think about it? I honestly can't think of any DMs that are homegrown. About 20 million, boom, boom. Is that what you're thinking? Does anyone feel like after we've sorted out the midfield, because I feel like we need 2 more midfielders, and then that is potentially midfield signed off for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, yeah? And then we've got to get another centre-back in. So we've got a centre-back right now. We've got Gomez, Kanate, Matip, Van Dijk, and Nat Phillips if you count him in. So if we were to go and get, you have to think that a bit next place, wouldn't you? That we have to reinforce. Kanate can't keep doing this, running about in that right-hand position all season. He just can't do it. He'll break, and then Matip has got no chance of doing that. For me, Matip only plays if Van Dijk don't play, and he plays that central role there. That's where I'd play Matip, and he doesn't have to run about. Gomez, I think, could come and do Kanate's role. I think it'd be. I won't be happy with it, but it's cover, isn't it? And then on the left, we've got Robbo, who I think struggled in the first game, but then he played all right yesterday. But then you also have Tsimikas, who I just don't see as a left-sided centre back. I don't see that whatsoever. I think, in all fairness, I think Tsimikas. If an offer came in for Tsimikas this window, they'd sell him. So if he don't go this summer, Tsimikas, I think he goes next summer. In all fairness, I just don't see him playing this position if we keep it. If we revert back to a back four again, then yeah, fine. I can see Tsimikas staying around. But in this current format and the way we're playing, it doesn't suit him. What's that? Quansah? Is that how you say his name? Quansah. He played all right, didn't he, in the pre-season? I think he's still at the club as well. So maybe he gets a little bit of a run out in the League Cup or something and see how he does. Maybe that's not a bad shout that at all. I still think we need someone to come in and cover Robbo if he was to get injured or something, like a left-footed. But they all seem to have gone. We could need about 3. We could do, because we've got to think as well. End of the season, guys, we lose Matip. End of the season, he's gone. Van Dijk and Salah are both in the last years of the contract at the end of this season. With us just giving Van Dijk the captaincy, you've got to think that there's some sort of contract renewal coming up for him. The defence, I think the defence is the next spot in it where we need to get it sorted out. We really do need to get that sorted out so bad. I mean, I honestly think I'm of the opinion that this is Salah's last season at the club. I've already come to terms with that. Can't we just get rid of Adrian? We've given him a new contract, guys. His contract was up this summer, and they give him a new one. So I can't see that happening. Can't see that happening whatsoever. I think that must have been just because they thought Kelleher were going. Otherwise, I just can't see why they gave him another contract. But what do you do, guys? If you could keep one of Van Dijk and Salah, who are you keeping? Trent will get a new deal this summer. I think that's nailed on. They won't let Trent go. I'm umming and ahhing about Trent and Salah, Van Dijk and Salah, though. I don't know what happens there. I don't think they keep Salah and give him another pay increase when he's going to be, 32, 33, something like that. Maybe I've aged him a little bit there. Can't see him giving him another 300 grand contract. I think he goes to Saudi next summer. I really do. They'll probably sell him for about 60, 80 million last year of his contract. He'll probably go to Saudi. And then who we got to replace him? I honestly think if we don't get the defence sorted out this year, we're going to go into next summer with us having to replace Salah and replace the defence, basically, because Matip will be gone, like I say. Now, I can't pronounce that name, Deadmore, if that's how you say his name, sorry, mate. I can't pronounce that player, but yeah, he's a name that's popped up with linked to us as well from Bayer Leverkusen. Which actually, that's another thing. Xabi Alonso, could he be a replacement, linking back to a topic earlier? Could he be a replacement for Klopp if Klopp was to end up going? Keep Van Dijk, but not on crazy wages. Yeah, I do as well. Yeah, I think Salah goes end of this season, guys. I just see it now. I think he goes 80 million, maybe 100 max. We don't really have any power next summer when he's in the last year of his contract because they'll just say, all right, I'll sit out another year at Liverpool and I'll just go for nothing the year after. Is that how much Adrian's actually on at Liverpool? 60 grand a week to not even be on the bench. Some of these players steal wages, don't they? They absolutely steal a living. I'm good, Yorkshire. Are you good, mate? They absolutely steal a living to some of these footballers. 60 grand a week to not even be on the bench. Who's that attacker from Germany moving to an English club now? Someone like Palace. I don't know. I haven't seen it. That's good, Yorkshire Red. That's good. Played against us last season. What team does he play for? Chips and gravy. Yeah, he is, Gary. He is. He's linked to Palace, you said. Have a quick look. Let me have a look. See if I can find it. Bundes. Is he German or is he just plays in Bundesliga? Max Meyer, is that him? Can't see anybody else. That's the first one that popped up was Max Meyer. Oh, he's not German. Or I don't know, mate. Don't know. I'll have to have a quick look in a bit. Yeah, he could do that. Could do that. Honestly, guys, I feel like the whole John Henry visit last week maybe have kicked them up the arse a little bit about the whole transfer window this year. You know, it's gone shit on it. It's really gone proper bad. Caicedo, why bid for a player like Caicedo if you know he's not going to come to us? I know people are going to say that, you know, the agent used us. I get that. I absolutely get that 100%. But would that have happened if it was Michael Edwards or Julian Ward? Would they have known already that they were just being used? I think they would have done a little bit, me, to be honest with you. And then the whole Lavia thing, I feel sorry for the guy. I've got no hard feelings towards him for going to Chelsea whatsoever. We just messed him about. We should have just paid the money weeks ago and we'd have had him. If we'd have signed Lavia and Endo, I'd have been happy with that. I really would have done. But it looks like we're going to have to go pay more money for somebody else. I feel like as well, guys, that we might go for Thuram as well a little bit. I don't know. I don't know why, but I just feel like there's this. I guess you can say like an itch or whatever. I don't know. There's just something about Kone and Thuram that just won't go away for me. Them two names just won't go away. I mean, it's good to see him back in training now, Kone, so maybe that's something we'll revisit later on, potentially in January after we give him a bit more time to get fit and everything like that. Kudus is a player that Liverpool should have been all over. We should have been all over that guy. He can play midfield. He can play, where Salah plays, and he's a lot younger. He'd be the perfect replacement for Salah. We should be all over him. I think as well, they're buying him for about 40 million. You watch next summer. If he has a blinder this year, he'll be worth about 80, 90 million. You think we'll get one more in that no one's ever heard of? I won't be surprised. Won't be surprised at all. We were linked with Kudus back in January. I remember doing videos about him. When he played. Yes, he played Ajax. It's Ajax. That's why I couldn't find him, Dave. It's Ajax. He plays for Ajax. He don't play in Germany. That's why I couldn't remember him. Yeah, he scored. It was a good goal as well. He scored, yeah. I made a joke, Yorkshire Red, about Liverpool will go put a £60 million bid in for Fabinho. Nah, it's all right, Dave. It's all right, Dave. Don't worry about it. Yeah, 60 million bid for Fabinho to bring him back. Yeah, that's what I reckon we'll do. But nah, in all seriousness, it's probably going to be someone like Kone or Decore. But again, we played at home yesterday, guys, and whenever we play at home, we always kind of hear news, don't we? Like a couple of days later about transfers or something that's going on. So I would not be surprised if by at least Monday, Tuesday, when people start going back to work, if we hear some rumblings that have gone on at Anfield, like visits. like as an agent being and sat with him while, being hosted at the stadium while we were playing at the weekend, potentially. There was someone on another channel the other day who reached out to Crystal Palace and they're being right quiet, and he basically said that they normally do that when someone's leaving. So is it going to be Czech Decore that comes in? Again, like I said earlier, if he comes in, we need another again. I know it sounds like I'm being greedy, but even if we'd have signed Caicedo, I felt like we still needed 2 more midfielders and a centre-back. So the numbers still stack, guys. We've got Endo. We still need 2 more and a defender. And then next summer, then that for me would be the perfect summer for us. And then we can go into next summer knowing that Salah's probably going to go next year, and we can focus on getting the correct replacement in for him and making tweaks here and there. Like, say, for instance, like someone mentioned earlier on, if Nunez doesn't kick on this season, is it time then we revisit that situation where we go, right, Nunez has not worked out, let's go, we'll loan him out or, sell him on the cheap, whatever, and we bring somebody else in. We don't have to be wooing around, like messing about, trying to get all these other players in like we are this summer. We get it sorted now, then next year we can focus on just tweaking little bits, because we're probably going to have to end up signing another goalkeeper soon as well. Like, I know goalkeepers, can play for a lot longer space of time, but Alisson's getting into his 30s now, guys. He's like 31. So are we going to start thinking about getting another goalkeeper in as well in a couple of years' times? I don't know. I know I'm thinking a bit long term here, but you've got to think about it at some point. You can't just keep reacting to stuff. You need to be proactive. And that's what Liverpool were really good at a couple of years ago when we were winning everything and we were playing like great football. Liverpool were reactive to the situation, not reactive to the situation. They were proactive. They knew who they were going to go get. I agree with you, Dave. Yeah, Ali's got about 5 years left in him. He really has. But Caicedo, not Caicedo, I'm saying Caicedo because someone mentioned Caicedo above you, sorry. Kelleher's probably going to move on next summer because he ain't getting the game time. Adrian's probably going to move on. So we're going to have to go get somebody else to come in to be the understudy and potentially the long-term successor to Alisson. But I don't know, guys. Maybe that'll be a question for the next manager to deal with, in all fairness, because Klopp's got about how many years has Klopp got left in his contract? Is it 2 or 3? Do we see Klopp sign another contract? I'm a bit iffy about that. Oh, thanks, Dave. Thank you for that, mate. We'll have to wait and see what happens with the Saudi League, won't we? If the Saudi League proper kicks off, guys, and starts making that revenue and it starts like getting somewhere, maybe we'll start getting made offers for players that we don't really want to lose, but the offer is we just can't refuse it. If one of Saudi teams came in next summer, obviously they buy Salah for about 80, 100 million. But then if another one walked in, like, here, 150 million for Alisson, is FSG going to turn that down? I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Is that 2 years including this? Oh, 2026, right? I can see that, right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, maybe the goalkeeper situation is something for the next manager to sort out. I just hope it's not going to be Pep Linders. Jesus Christ. The more that guy spoke over the past few years, the worse we've got. And I think as well, he's had a lot of insight into, not insight, like, he's had a lot of say, let's just put it that way, on players that we've signed. I think Nunez is a Linders player. If you read that book, I've got it up there somewhere. Is the book that he wrote, Intensity. He mentions Nunez in there at some point. So I think he's a Nunez player, me. Same as Diaz. I think they both were. Gakpo's more of a Klopp signing. Is George gone yet? No, not yet. I think he'll be gone though. I think he'll go end of this window. They might give him a little bit of an extension to last him to the end of this year, but I don't think he'll be around long term. There's been too many leaks. Way too many leaks this summer. Midfielders this season, defenders next season. Okay. I think we still need a striker though next year to come in if we do end up losing Salah. Alisson's 2027. Okay. So he's got 4 years left on his deal. What's this? Romano's just tweeted something about Al Nasri. Laporte's going to Saudi, guys. That's just popped up on my phone. Oh, Hansi Flick. I like him as a manager. He did really well at Bayern. I just maybe think internationals is not for everybody. Like, I can't see Klopp being I can see Klopp being an international manager for Germany, but I can't really see him having the success because the way Klopp manages is very intense, isn't it? It's very similar to what Pep's like. So I don't know how you convert that into the national team when you're not with the players every day of the week. You only see them like every so often, and the players can change depending on who's in form and who's doing this, that, and the other. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a different game, isn't it? But yeah, Hansi Flick's not a bad shout as well, to be fair, to come and manage Liverpool after Klopp's unfortunately going to end up going, because obviously he's going to go at some point, guys. Let's have a look then, see if there's anything that's actually breaking while we've been doing this stream. There's nothing again. There is literally nothing. Kefram Taram played today. Got an 8.6 rating, if that's of any interest to you. There's literally nothing. Apparently, Man City are chasing Florian Wirtz. That's someone that Liverpool were after at one point a few years ago before he had that really bad injury. Someone's tweeted a picture here, and it's of Tyrone Mings kicking Gakpo in the stomach and getting booked, and basically put like, this is a yellow card, but McAllister's was a red. It's the inconsistency, isn't it? Inconsistency. Yorkshire Red thought that Salah might have gone this year. Mate, it's still not off the table. Like, Mbappe's left. Sorry, Mbappe stayed at PSG. If he'd have left PSG, would they have come in for him? Thuram. I don't think that one's gone. I don't think that Thuram is. I don't think Thuram's one to write off just yet. I could still see that one happening. Ben Doka's replacement for Moore. Ben Doak is a really good player. He's got that raw energy, and he's very, very raw as a player in himself. He needs to sort out his final third end product. Like, he needs to get his balls into the box, or he needs to start scoring goals. So maybe we need to loan him out. Maybe Doak could do with a loan out to somewhere like Blackburn Rovers or something. Somewhere that did Elliott good, where he gets a lot more game time and gets to hone his game a little bit. I think he's still very, very raw. I think he's going to be a really good player for us, but I don't know. I think we play him in League Cup this year and see how we go from there. Basuma played amazing yesterday, and he also played really well in the first game. Now, that, again, is a player that I thought Liverpool were going to sign when he left Brighton. But if you're to believe what was chatted about him at the time, he's not that... He doesn't fit the profile that Klopp goes for in a person, not a player, in a person. So I think that's why we were kind of took a step back from that one. How would I feel if we got Kudus next week, but Salah went to Saudi? I'd be gutted. I'd be really, really gutted. It depends how much money it was. How much money did we get for Salah? If we get north of 100 and we sign Kudus for 40, 50, I'd live with it. I really would. Because then we could probably use the rest of that money to strengthen the other areas of the team that need strengthening, like centre-back and DM. We've got 111 million to play with right now. If we were to lose Salah for over 100, plus the 300 and whatever K a week he's on, we would have. I hate the fact we speak like this, guys. Now that I'm talking about it, like we talk like accountants. It does my head in. FSG have done this to us, and the modern game has just changed everything. But yeah, if we got north of 100 for Salah, I'd probably let him go for guaranteed kudos as well. I'd just live with it. I think it's good business, especially when we could potentially lose Salah next season anyway. It just happened 12 months early. Yorkshire Red, we need a centre mid, a DM, and a left centre. Yeah, we do. Michael agrees. Yeah, we've said this, Michael. I think that Salah goes end of this season. I really do. This is his last year with us. How many records can he break now before he goes into his last season? Let's have a look again while we're live right now. Liverpool's all-time top goal scorers. Let's have a look. See if this is up to date from yesterday. Yeah, it is. So currently, Rush is in front with 336. Salah's got 187. He ain't reaching that this season. Second is Roger Hunt with 259. He ain't reaching that this season. Salah's got 187. So he ain't going to move further up on that, you'd say, would you? His goals per match, though, is the highest out of them all. Rush was 0.52. Roger Hunt was 0.59. And Salah's 0.61. There's no one even... The closest person to him is Roger Hunt. There's literally no one else within... Fernando Torres was 0.57. Yeah. Let's have a look at this. Top 10, guys, for all-time Liverpool top goal scorers is Ian St. John with 117. Mane with 120. Owen 158. Dalglish 163. Is it Billy Lidley? Sorry, can't pronounce it. Sorry, my bad. 169. Robbie Fowler 183. Stevie G 186. And then Salah, Roger Hunt, and then Rush. So yeah, I'm not sure he could break any more records lately if he stays another season. Would you take more off pens? Yes, I would. I think I would right now. I think if he misses one more, he comes off. Would you go 4-4-2 and play Salah and Nunez up top with Gakpo and Doak left and right in the midfield? I don't know because then who are you dropping? Who are you playing in the centre of the park? I feel like we'd lose so many players. Basuma fell off a cliff when he went to Spurs. He did, but he has played well these first two games. Caicedo's on the bench and Lavia's not on the bench. Yeah, well, I don't even think that Lavia will play many games at Chelsea. Rush has 346. Let's have a look what this website says. I'm going off transfer market. They're normally up to snuff for them. I don't know what it just says here. All competitions, all positions, all detailed positions. So I don't know. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe this website's not correct. Yeah, I do think Quansah might get a few games this season. I think he'll play in the cups. So Bosley taking corners. He's so good from dead ball situations. He's going to be a signing, that guy. He is going to be a signing. There was rumours that he wasn't really settling in the area, apparently, or within the team, but he seems to be doing all right for me on the pitch, and that's the main thing we need to worry about. I don't want to see Trent or Robbo taking corners anymore. I honestly think that we're just really bad at corners lately, don't you think? So Bosley seems to just be able to do it really, really well. He's really good from dead ball situations. Do I think the Maka red card would be appealed? If I were Liverpool, I'd appeal it. But if we don't hear anything by Tuesday, I don't think they're gonna. We spoke about this a little bit earlier, but yeah, I don't think they've got grounds basically to appeal it. They have. They really do have. Even the Bournemouth manager said that it wasn't a foul, or it wasn't a red card, sorry. So you would expect them to do something. They'll be having talks today, and they'll definitely be having talks on Monday. But you've got to think if they've not even appealed it by Wednesday at the latest, and it's just not happening. But I do expect over the next 48 hours to hear something on another player. I don't have anything to go off that. I'm just basically going off the fact that Liverpool played at home yesterday. So don't be surprised if we start hearing some credible stuff over the next couple of days. Wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. We do need to appeal at Yorkshire Red. We do. And yeah, I'm going to say it bluntly, yeah, Dave, like you just said then, yeah. Trent and Robbo have been absolutely garbage on corners these past, probably back end of last season into this season as well. Like, when was the last time we scored from a corner? I know, like, we hit the crossbar yesterday, but I can't remember who took that one, to be fair. So maybe that was a Trent, maybe that was Szoboszlai. Did Szoboszlai take some corners? So apparently, guys, it's just on my phone now. Apparently, City are looking at Florian Wirtz to replace Kevin De Bruyne since he's injured for 3 to 4 months. Sorry, Dave, was that a yes for a Trent or Robbo corner, or was it a Szoboszlai corner? Or is that a yes to appealing the red card? Sorry. The ref needs to be sacked. You would think if it gets appealed and it's successful, then he gets dropped for the weekend coming, and the VAR refs get dropped as well. Oh, he did it. He took that one. Right, cool. Right, so there you go then. There's the proof in the pudding, isn't it, really? Hit the crossbar from Saboz's corner, and all the other ones we do nothing with. Proof's in the pudding. I really do like Szoboszlai, not even going to lie, guys. In fact, I think I've... No, it's not over there. I'm sure I've got him on my home kit shirt this year. Does anyone still do that? Get player names on the shirts? I'm sure I got Szoboszlai. I think I have, yeah. You heard anything about Andre Fonflumen's? No, I've not heard anything, mate. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Like, I heard all the same stuff about you that you guys have heard. Apparently, we wanted him. They set a deadline for when the Brazilian transfer window closed. We didn't meet it. If we're going to sign him, it'll probably come in January now. But again, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, he's one of them players you've got to think that Liverpool start buying before they go off to someone like Brighton or whatever and they turn them into a worldie. Will Trent be fit for the next game? I did have Klopp's comments up for the game here. Let's have a quick he said. Basically, he was asked whether Trent's okay. He got kicked. It was really painful, but as far as he felt, it didn't twist or whatever. It was a kick, and that's why we changed then. But I hope. Basically, Klopp doesn't know as of yet whether or not Trent's going to be fine. You'd think he'd get some sort of scan either last night or today. We probably would have heard something about it. So let's wait and see. West Ham are winning 1-0. Oh, are they playing Chelsea? Let's have a look. Yeah, Chelsea. Good. Wolves or Everton get relegated. Tough one. My gut says Everton. I don't know why. I think they played very, very close with it last season, didn't they? So you got to say Everton, haven't you? But then again, like Wolves, Wolves is a difficult one to think. Like, are Manchester United just that bad that they made Wolves look really good, or did Wolves turn up to play Man United and then just got trounced by Brighton yesterday? Are Brighton that good? It's one of them, and it's difficult to suggest right now. But as of right now, I would probably think maybe Everton, and we'll judge Wolves on their next game. We play Wolves pretty shortly. I'm sure I've mentioned them today in the next fixtures. I'm sure we play them over the next couple of games. See, I think there about the ref was okay yesterday and you blame the VAR refs. I like VAR, but it needs to be used in the correct ways. Like, we can't have it where the refs are waiting for VAR to step in and to rectify their decisions. The refs still need to make the decisions on the pitch, and they just can't be relying on technology. The VAR should only be used in a case of when it's like a goal, a penalty decision, or if the ref has literally just made an absolute stinker on the pitch where, you know, the ball's gone out and is given a goal. Do you know what I mean? Some stuff like that, or if he's only like someone's proper clattered somebody and he hasn't seen it and he's not given a card, or that's when they step in. But if the ref's already made the decision, be it a yellow card when it should have been a red or something like that, then VAR shouldn't be stepping in, I don't think. If it's a serious one where he's given a red like yesterday, where it's going to affect the rest of the game, then yeah, VAR should step in and be like, take another look at that. I don't think that should be the case. But at the end of the day, the refs are paid to ref the game. They should ref it as it is, and VAR only steps in on certain situations. Yeah, Nunez, man. He was the player that we could have signed this season. Bit of a weird one. That apparently, allegedly, he had a clause in his contract that allowed him to come to Liverpool this season, but I think Wolves took the clause out. Chelsea's spend has been ridiculous. Haven't they spent nearly $1 billion since he took over? Jesus, man. Chelsea's spend. I know we complain about FSGs, but I would not want it to be like that, where it's just scattergun. Like, they went and signed that Mudryk, didn't they? Has he even played? I know obviously he has, but they spent a stupid amount of money on that kid and they're not even playing him. And then they're selling like some of the best players for money just so they can function with FFP. There's no way, boom, that they can go and spend again in January and summer next year. If they do, there's something wrong. Like, they had to raise 300 million by the end of June this year to be able to do any more spending. So, but again, as you say there, they don't care. We've got this situation with City. Like, has anyone watched that documentary about City? It's eye-opening. You know, if City can get away with it and they're not getting any sort of reprimand, then Chelsea will just do the same thing, like you say. FFP don't exist. Josh Red, you are 100% correct there, mate. Any news on Decore? I ain't got any news, nothing like that, no, but I would probably say he's one that to keep an eye on, as well as Kone and Thuram. James Ward-Prowse is underrated as a player. He's really good. He wouldn't be good for Liverpool now, but he's really good player. He's James Ward-Prowse. On the transfer news, if you missed it earlier, Claire, I expect Liverpool to have some sort of news come out in the next 48 hours or so, just because obviously we played at home yesterday and Liverpool probably would have hosted some agents or something yesterday. So we might hear something about it in regards to that. we hosted McAllister's dad, didn't we? When we got smashed by Real Madrid and we still signed him. So let's see what happens. How long been? Bloody hell, I've been streaming over an hour today, guys. Bloody hell, that's a long stream. Have you guys enjoyed this? Just to close up the stream, is this something you'd like to see me do more often? Like, I know I've said I'd do one after the games and that. So I might just make it a bit of a Sunday thing where we have like a catch up on a Sunday and see what spoke about over the week and that, and see what's coming. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll do it on a Sunday. We'll do it Sundays then. I'll do them as well when there's something to talk about, because half at time when you don't hear nothing from me, guys, it's because there's nothing to talk about. I'm not like these other channels that just peddle stuff out, like at the slightest rumor on Twitter and stuff like that. I should host call-in shows. I don't even know how to do that, mate. If someone could show me how to do it, I'd give it a go, but I don't even know how to do that. I have been asked to go on a show. I've been asked to go on a show. Was it James Phillips? I'm sure he sent me a DM a while ago. Not mean to call him out. Don't mean to call him out or anything like that, but I'm sure he sent me a DM asking me to go on one of his shows a few weeks back, but I just couldn't do it at that time. Jamie Phillips, that's his name, yeah. He asked, he sent me a DM a few weeks back to go on his show, but I couldn't do it at the time. I've not heard out from him since, so maybe that boat sailed. But yeah, I've enjoyed doing this. It's been good. I've quite enjoyed it. Yeah. Right, guys. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, I'm gonna probably end this stream, guys. Is there anything you want to talk about? Give you a couple of minutes to put some questions in. Transfers. I'll probably just to summarise then on transfers, I would say that Decore, Kone, and Thuram are the players I'm still kind of looking at. I've got no rhyme or reason as to why I'm thinking of Kone and Thuram. It's just like an itch that won't go away. I don't know why. I can't get them out of my head. Decore is just a name that obviously is going around, and it seems to be the one from the Premier League that everyone seems to be talking about a lot. But yeah, he goes to the AFCON, so again, there needs to be something going on there. Who would you sign as a left centre back? I would have signed Inacio, guys, but he's just signed a new contract. That's raised that release clause up to 60 million euros, I think, or maybe it's pounds. So again, you won't think that that's one. I can't pronounce that name. Is it Thete? He's one that's doing the one, and so is that other guy that you've put there from Bayer Leverkusen. He's another one as well that's been doing the rounds. But again, as people have been mentioning, you've mentioned yourself in the chat, he's got the same agent as Caicedo, so that will not happen. No way, Jose. You've got to think that Liverpool are going to feel burnt by that guy. Do I think Lavia made a mistake joining Chelsea? Yeah. Got to think he won't get much game time, would he? With them signing Caicedo as well, unless they're going to play two together and then just drop Conor Gallagher. Will Nunez play 20 games this season? You've got to think he would do. Surely has to. Is that all competitions or just league? You got to think he does more than 20. I reckon he does about 35 in total this year. You got to think, even though he's not started, he has played in the first two games of this season already. So, Prem. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if he does or not. If you're taking in substitute appearances, yeah, he goes over that. If you're talking just about starting, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing, guys, with Nunez. I really don't. It don't make no sense how he's not already started with him having the number 9 shirt. Doesn't make no sense whatsoever to me. I'd do something with Dunk Me. Would do. I know there's a few people that don't. like Dunk or anything like that. But end of the day, I've got no problems with him. He's been really good to me. So I would do something like that. As long as Nunez scores the winning goal in Dublin next June, I'll be happy. I think we'll all be happy. He is Yorkshire Red. He is Gary. He's been nothing but kind to me, offering me support and everything like that. So yeah, I've got nothing against him at all. I see him as a friend. He sees me as a friend. We've never met in person, but yeah, he's helped me out a lot. He really has. Do you think we sign Ryan Gravenberch? I can't see how much you've put there as the money because of the stupid love art thing. 20 is it 22 million or 20 million you've put? I can't really see it. He'd be a decent addition to the squad, I think. I really do think that he would be. I don't think he'd come in and start, but I think he could come in and do a job. And I do think that he would probably. The question is, where do you play him? Because I don't see him as an out-and-out 6, unless he comes in to be like understudy to like a McAllister or a Szoboszlai. But then you've already got Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott that can do that. So does he come in and do Trent's job? Is he Trent's backup? Like, is that where he plays? Yeah, I've seen them rumours, Redbird, about them sending reps over to Germany. Do I currently think we challenge for the league? It's hard to say, guys. It's hard to say. If I was to go on the squad as it is now, with no further signings, no. Hard no. Do I think we get Champions League football? Yes. But that's because I think this season, it's the top 5 that qualify for the Champions League because they're doing that whole new format next year. So I think we get Champions League football, at least with the current squad. And that could be based on us winning the Europa League. Not based on the... What's that you put there, Redbird? Redbird, if you go into the description of this video, there's my Twitter link. So if you just send me a DM or something about what that is, I'll have a look at it separately. But yeah, back to the league title. Current squad, no. But if we were to get some more players in, then potentially that could change. I do think we get the top 5 though to get into the Champions League. I think we should do anyway. Still no news, and I sent it back. Nope, nothing whatsoever. Nothing at all. I still think they're trying to sort out that midfield thing. The thing is, though, we've already shown our cards, haven't we? With that 111 million we spent on, tried to spend on Caicedo. So we've got the money. So if we don't spend it and cover these positions that everyone wants covering, then you've got to ask, is that an FSG problem or is that a George problem? Because they've given the money. So we can't blame them for that. They've given them the money. So yeah, that has to be a recruitment problem. So you have to put that at George and Klopp situations. How am I finding the YouTube world and when I decided to do it? So I think this channel's been around just over a year now. I initially started off doing everything that I was kind of interested in. I did a few movie reviews, and obviously I've been a big Liverpool fan like all my life. But the movie review thing, I couldn't bother doing it anymore. So I deleted all them and I just fixated on Liverpool. Basically, it started off did this just because I've got a lot to say about opinions and stuff like that. And some of all my mates are just, what the hell is that there? Got a right mark there. See that? All my mates are Leeds fans, so I've got no one to really speak about with Liverpool or anything like that. So I basically just wanted to get my thoughts out there because I've got one of these minds where if I've got a thought in my head and if I don't do out with it, it just drives me nuts. So that's basically why I started doing this. And I'm finding it all right. Like, you know, you get some knobs in your comments with stuff like oh, when was the last time you went to a game and you're not from Liverpool? And I just don't even pay any attention. I just delete them. I delete them and block them from the channel. So I ain't bothered, guys. I think I got monetized about a month and a half ago now. So, you know, people, I can get memberships put on here if I wanted to, but it's just, I don't think I do the content worth charging people for. So that's why I haven't done it. Obviously, there's some ads that sometimes play on my videos and stuff like that. So I get a bit of revenue through that, but it's not a lot, in all fairness. But it's not about me doing it for the money, in all fairness. It was just about me doing it to get my opinions out there. If in a long term, I feel like I can make some money out of this and make this my full-time job or whatever, then fine, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's not something that I wanted to do. I just wanted to do this as a bit of a side hobby and stuff like that. What are my thoughts on FSG? So FSG for me are basically not the right owners anymore. I think they've taken us as far as they can. I think the world of football has become too expensive now to do the whole Moneyball thing. I do think that you have to give credit where credit's due. They've done some good stuff at the club, the training facility, the stands. You know, we've won league underneath them. We've won the Champions League underneath them. We've won all these trophies, but I put all that at Klopp's feet. I don't say that's because of FSG. I say that's despite FSG. Basically, FSG, when they bought Liverpool, they did an article came out, didn't it? I can't remember looking for it now, guys. Sorry, but and that sounds really lazy of me. But there was an article that came out, and it was the old CEO of our club. Is it Christian Purslow or something? And he basically said that FSG were the bottom of the barrel deal when we were selling the club at the time. And that's just stuck me ever since. They're in it to make money, guys. If they were to be given the money they wanted for the club right now, they'd go. But I just think that the value was a bit too much. You know, they paid 300 million for us or something like that. And I reckon if someone came in and offered them 4.5 billion, they'd go. But no one's obviously offered that money as of yet. The whole Man United situation's not helped, where they've not been sold yet. You know, they've got the benchmarks, haven't they? So Chelsea went for, what was it? Did Chelsea go for 3 billion, right? And obviously Liverpool are a bigger club than Chelsea. So you think, right, add $500 million to the price of Chelsea as a bare minimum. And then if Man United go for, like, say, 6 or 7, and they, again, guys, we're all Liverpool fans here, but we've got to speak the truth. Man United globally are a bigger club than Liverpool, right? So they're valued more than Liverpool, right? So if they go for like 6-7 billion, you've got to think then that FSG are thinking, well, we can get at least 5 for Liverpool. And if no one's offering them that money, then they're not going to go. And then you're seeing all these new. I know, Phil. I don't even bother, mate. Like, I hide the users. And the funny thing is, right, when you do that, right, to them. Sorry, I have to go back. I'll go back to FSG in a minute, but I'm just replying to Phil's comment here. When you do that, when you hide a user from the channel, they can still see my content and they can still comment, right? But none of us will see their comments or anything like that. So they're just talking into a void, but they think that we can all see it, but they can't. I find that quite funny, actually. So yeah, I think if FSG were given the money they wanted, they'd go now. And for me, on new owners, I'm not one of those that really cares where they come from. Like, if we were to get another American owner, I wouldn't be that bothered. As long as my main thing for me is they have to be, 1, a football fan. 2, well, no, maybe that's wrong around. 1, they have to care about the club, right? 2, they have to be a football fan and have a passion for it and want to do good at the club and not just generate as much money as possible from the club, right? So if we were to be sold to an American who had the money and he was an avid football fan, and I'm not talking American football here, I'm talking our football, yeah, then I won't be bothered. But again, at the same time, if we got sold to a Middle East country or anything like that, yeah, I don't agree with everything that goes on in them countries. But at the end of the day, I can't do anything about it, right? So if they bought Liverpool, I won't be bothered because we all know they're massive football fans, yeah? And at the end of the day, as long as the club's successful, that's all we're bothered about. Do I think Klopp will sign a new extension? I think Klopp signs a new contract extension if and only if we get new owners. I don't think he'll do it again with these. I really don't. Liverpool is the club with the most support now with Endo commercial. Mate, honestly, them Endo shirt sales are going to go through the roof. He's going to sell. You know what you need to start selling? You need to start selling like Endo gum shields. They'll go flying out as well. But yeah, Endo shirts will fly off over that region of the world. You know, there were rumours that potentially someone from over that side of the world could buy Liverpool, like Singapore or something like that. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? There's no point in stress. The one thing I've learned this summer, guys. Well, there's two things I've really learned this summer. One, don't believe anything you see on Twitter. It's all bollocks. Like the amount of stuff I've seen on there. I've got the receipts on here of everything that anybody said. It sounds really, really strange, right? I've got all the receipts, I've got all the tweets and everything on here, and none of them have been right about all. So anyone that you listen to on Twitter, just stop listening. And then two is this whole FSG situation. End of the day, it is what it is. Unless we all unite as fans, like we did with Hicks and Gillette, we're not going to get them out. And until that happens, there's nothing we can really do about it. So we're kind of stuck with them at the moment until someone comes in and offers the money that they want for the club. You know, a lot of people thought they might have sold this year to try and get an NBA team, but then that's kind of gone quiet. You know, the Washington Commanders, they went for a... I can't see your message, Gary, mate. It's been retracted or something. Does that mean you deleted it? I don't know, mate. But yeah, it's just a bit strange, isn't it? 16 for a player's name on a shirt, regardless of length, plus 100 for the shirt. Rip off, mate. Shirts are really, really bad. Have you seen the ones that the actual players wear, like the players replica? It's 120 quid or something like that. That is crazy. Yeah, Phil, that's my opinion as well. That's basically what I think. And yeah, we spoke about that, Claire, like the McAllister red. It needs to be, it should be rescinded. But if we don't hear anything about it by Wednesday, then I don't think the club have moved forward with it. And if the club don't move forward with an appeal, they're probably being told that they wouldn't win the appeal. So don't be mad at the club if they don't appeal it. They would have had conversations with the FA or the Premier League or whatever, and they would have been told that there's no way that that's going to get rescinded. So kind of is what it is. Right, guys, this has been nearly an hour and a half stream as this. So I'm going to call last orders now. If you have any questions that you want answering within the last couple of minutes, I will answer them. If not, I will be ending the stream bang on an hour and a half, guys. Let's have a look what else is going on here. Nothing much. Cost of living. Exactly, mate. Cost of living. So why do you think all these people get all these dodgy boxes where they can watch everything and everything? Pay one fee, you don't pay all that. It is what it is. Not that I've got one, right? Right, guys, we'll end it here. I'm going to get some grub. Nice one for you all joining. If you've enjoyed it again, we'll get this going on a weekly basis at first. And if it starts taking off a little bit, we'll get it done maybe a bit more regular. So, yeah, guys, have a good weekend. I know it's nearly the end of it, but I hope you've all had a good weekend anyway. And I will see you all at some point through the week, no doubt, when I do my next video. See you then, guys.